Hey guys, how's it going? It's Breakout Bag Lunch, and today is February 4th, 2026. And we are looking at 3 red trades to conclude a red day. I've just been spending a little bit of time doing some reflection and kind of just thinking about things that I could have done better or differently, or different ways to approach this type of trading market behavior. But in any case, we're just going to go through the trades and we're going to do the recap after that, a reflection as always. So let's get right into it. All right. So I'll just start with just the high level market structure. As you can see, well, I guess if you exclude today's price action, or even if you do include it, what I'm noticing is that there isn't really a clear trend in this price action, in this structure, at least from what I can tell. You kind of have a high put in here around 70.27, and then we have a similar high put in here of 20.70.28, and then you kind of have like a low, then a lower low, but then we also have this higher low here. So overall, once you consider that structure and then consider this VWAP kind of just going back and forth with price going below up and below it, there isn't really like a super strong trend in the market. So that didn't really lead me to have any sort of strong bias for today. We started by trading with longs because we were kind of moving above VWAP, but what happened was, well, kind of just shot back down. Move the view up here. So yeah, we had a break of the 5-minute opening range, and then we had a little bit of a retracement, and that's when I decided to get long at 69.47.25. And at first this trade was working out pretty well. My profit target was at 6963, so we're around up here, but then we just plummeted down, and because of that I exited my longs. Now if you look here, we got like a super tiny bearish break of the 5-minute opening range. Then we had to move up and then a rejected VWAP. I should mention that we had a move below VWAP and then a bearish retest of VWAP for a continuation lower. The reason why I didn't take this, take any shorts here, was because this isn't really like a super strong bearish break, so I wasn't sure about going short here. And also you kind of have this area of support. I guess it didn't really act as support yesterday. As you can see, we just went straight down from this area, but this is the level I had marked out. In any case, my next inclination was to take a short entry, which I did right here at 6931.75. right around here, because we had the bearish retest of VWAP, move lower, and then we were kind of rejecting this fib area. At least that's what it looked like at first, but kind of just consolidated here. And then we had a super strong move up. So I ended up selling or covering these shorts. And then finally I thought, well, now that we're above VWAP, I need to maybe look for our longs, which I did here after we had this retest and then kind of this move higher, but that was just a little pop for another move lower. And so that was the trading day for today. Not the results that I wanted, but at least this will be a good lesson. Now, I mentioned this before, but I could have prevented the loss from being this bad if I had taken limit orders, but use limit orders instead of market orders. I know that's something I need to work on. And I would say probably here, this first trade wasn't really the best trade because I wouldn't really call this like a retest of VWAP. We're kind of just very close to VWAP, but this isn't really a retest. I think a retest would look something more like this, where we have a move that's clearly below VWAP and then a bounce back up and a move back down. So just in terms of looking at the VWAP, I probably should take a closer look at exactly how price is reacting to it, whether or not we actually have a strong move above VWAP, or is it just tiny bounces. And I would say, well, this short trade, the second trade, wasn't the worst. And third trade might be that I'm kind of just getting tunnel vision from the 1 minute charts, because I guess this move up was really not a continuation higher. It was kind of just a tiny bounce up and then I can move down. If you look here, we had a bearish retest of VWAP and then a continuation lower. So if we look at the fib specifically, let's see. So I would say, just in terms of the criteria I like to use for trades, probably would have been better to enter a short at this 6932 area at around 1055-ish, because at this point you had another bearish retest of VWAP after a move downward, and we also had a move below this 50% area for the fib. So all those factors together should lead me to believe that short would have been good there. But I think after taking these three trades, I was just done for trading. And that brings me to another point that I should make, and that is just limiting the number of trades I take. I'm limiting myself to 3 trades at the moment, but I might bring that down to 2, just because I'm noticing that I'm losing a bunch on these red days, but not making that much on the green days. And then this just goes back to what I was saying before about VWAP, but I should make sure that I'm not changing my bias too quickly. For example, I shouldn't think, well, hey, we had this little move up from VWAP, let's go long. Doesn't quite work that way. I think my bias should have still been bearish, just because we had a weak bounce, a weak move up, but then we had this really strong move down. So just based on that, just in terms of reflection, I probably wouldn't have taken this long just based on the VWAP. I probably would have still taken this short, but I wouldn't have taken this long, and I would have taken this short. So it would have been one losing trade and one winning trade. You know, right now the market is just, it's different. When you're in a bull market, prices go up pretty steadily, and yeah, it's not too hard to trade. But when you have markets that are sideways, or I should really say more bearish, then it it gets a little bit more difficult. I guess what we're going through now is really just more of a little pullback. It's not really a full-blown bear market, but the same idea holds. When you have more bullish conditions, then it's a bit easier to trade. But bearish or sideways markets, they're a little bit trickier. You have to be careful, and that's something I need to be mindful of as well. Alright, I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. If you have any other suggestions, please let me know. But if not, have a great day. Bye.